Hey, Wordrama community. I'm Jay. Most of you probably know me as Unhinged Games on TikTok and YouTube. I wanted to bring you a quick update on the status of Wordrama. And my commitment to all of you has always been transparent and let you know what's going on as I make updates to the site. As most of you know, I acquired Wordrama from the previous original owners and developers in late 2025. And I've been working over the last 6 months to make improvements, fix bugs and glitches, and bring the site back up to its full capacity. Well, I made a specific commitment to protect all of your data and historical streaks because I know that's one of the reasons why you all love Wordrama. It's what helps set this website apart from other places where you can play Wordle or other word puzzle games. There's a global leaderboard, and I have some news to share about that. I was making some improvements over the last couple of days and identified some issues where, unfortunately, the original leaderboard data became corrupted. Now, the data is still there, at least in some capacity, but unfortunately, it no longer accurately reflects your total games played versus won versus lost. Now, some of you may have noticed this already just looking at the leaderboard over the last day, but essentially, the way the architecture was built behind the scenes for Wordrama is that every game you play goes into a massive database. And this database has one main table that everybody's game info goes into. It captures how many guesses it took you to solve a word, how long the word was, even what the word was, and the exact time that you solved it. That's a tremendous amount of data for all of our users all around the world. So, if you'll recall, over the last maybe 6 months to a year, at least before I purchased the site, leaderboard times for loading were starting to get really, really slow. And that was just symptomatic of the fact that there was so much data that the site was trying to pull that it was taking forever to load. So, one of the things the original owners did to try and mitigate this was split off all data from the first year that the site was operational in 2024 and put it into its own separate table, and then create a new table moving forward. Well, I discovered this when in early January, suddenly everybody's streaks stopped counting and new data stopped being collected. And it became apparent that the current table was only set up to run through 2025. We fixed this and created updates that allowed data to continue to grow and accumulate all of your streaks, games played, won, and lost through 2025 to present. 2024, however, did remain separate. In my efforts to improve leaderboard loading times over the last couple of days, I worked diligently to back up all relevant data and then implement changes that allow for better architecture moving forward to result in faster and more accurate load times for all of your leaderboard stats. Unfortunately, the way the 2024 data was originally backed up and implemented on the site resulted in it not fully carrying over to this new build. Now, it still knows your total games played, but it can no longer differentiate between which of those games were won versus which of those games were lost and how many letters they were. So, what does that mean? If you go into the leaderboard today, you're going to see your stats as of January 1st, 2025 through present. Now, I do have the games that you played in 2024 as a summary table. And this just lists out how many games you actually played and what your best streak during that time period was. I'm going to actively work to build in a legacy leaderboard drop down item so that you can see your legacy scores from 2024. And I realize this doesn't impact a ton of players because most of you are relatively new to the scene. But I have a special place in my heart for those players who are here from the beginning because your streaks and your score aren't just reflective of time spent playing a game, but it's reflective of a lot of effort, maybe a lot of heartache, a lot of stress trying to find that perfect word to solve Wordle in 6 guesses or fewer. And I want to honor and reflect that. So I ask that you continue to bear with me and have patience as I navigate this and try to figure out the best way to implement that legacy data that I do still have access to. I want you to know I made every effort to back up the data that I was handed over when I took ownership of the site. But unfortunately, it just wasn't preserved the way it needed to be. And some of it appears to have been forever lost. So That said, your total games played at some point will be reflective of all games you've ever played, starting from the very beginning of the site. However, in the main leaderboard, it's only going to reflect things from 2025 forward. For most of you, this isn't going to impact you at all. If you started playing in 2025 or sooner, your info is perfectly accurate. But for my legacy users, for those folks who have been here the longest, who have continued to support this project and provided me with amazing feedback, I feel like I let you down. And I'm really, really sorry. But my commitment moving forward is that your data is protected. I've learned from this. I understand how to build this better moving forward to prevent something like this from ever happening again. And I appreciate if you choose to continue to play on Wordrama and support this project. All I can do is my best. And I realized that at some point, this site may have just gone down completely if I hadn't taken it over. So I hope you'll bear with me and have patience and allow me the opportunity to continue to serve you as the owner and administrator of this site. Thank you so much. And please reach out to me with any questions.